Guillaume here, host of the e-commerce wizard podcast, where I feature top leaders in business in e-commerce. Today I have Jordan West, CEO of Mindful Marketing, with me. And today we'll be talking about gated launch, how a procedure that Jordan will be presenting today generated $250,000 of sales in 24 hours for a new product line on an existing e-commerce website with no ad spend. So really interesting thing. And just before we get started on this conversation, we have our sponsorship message here. This episode is brought to you by MageMontreal. If business wants a powerful e-commerce online store that will increase their sales, or to move piled up dormant inventory to free up cash reserves, or to automate business processes to gain efficiency and reduce human processing error, our company, MageMontreal, can do that. We've been doing it for over a decade, but here's the catch. We are specialized and only work on the Adobe Magento e-commerce platform. Even if a company doesn't have a Magento site, we've converted lots of sites over, and we found it to be one of the most powerful and flexible platforms. We do everything Magento related. If you know someone who needs design, development, maintenance, training, support, we got their back. Email our team, support@magemontreal.com, or visit magemontreal.com. That's MAGE, Montreal.com. All right, so Jordan, you got my interest peak here with this gated launch. Tell me more.
Yeah. Hey, thanks again for having me on the podcast. This is great. I love doing this. Your read of your ad was great, by the way. I always get nervous when I do live reads as well. So I was with you there.
Awesome. Thank you. Well, thanks for being here also.
Totally. So I'll tell your audience a little bit about myself first here. So I started in e-commerce about 6 years ago. My wife and I started a baby clothing company. So it was first called Carmen West Creative Littles. And that was just my wife's name. And this, she was making it for little ones, right? So we started that years ago, and slowly it morphed into another brand that was called Little and Lively. And from there, we've actually added 2 more brands to the mix. And so what I'm talking about today has to do with that particular brand and what we did there. So for myself, I am an agency owner. We have about 15 of us at our agency. And then we've also got our brands, and we're actively making acquisitions right now. So if you're, an e-commerce store looking to sell, I would be a perfect person to reach out to right now to see if it's in our niche. And we're really trying to take a good look at these kind of stores. And anyway, all of that being an aside, we're going to talk about gated launches. What do you want to know first?
Well, I've seen that before, gated launch like that. We hear about it, but how do you make that work? Because this is a new product line. How do you, get the buzz online? How do you go about that, making this a success?
Totally. So to start, before I recommend anybody doing a gated launch, you have to already have a customer base, right? So for us, we store our customer base in a VIP group. So everyone that makes an order from our store, they get a video the very first time that they make an order, a personalized video from one of our team members saying, "Hey, thanks so much for ordering. If you have any questions about your order, or you want to talk to other Little and Lively customers, go to our VIP group here." So that's how we get people into our VIP group on Facebook. And there's a lot of chatter that goes on there. There's usually probably about 10 to 20 posts a day within the VIP group, either asking about clothing, sizing, all of that. So that's really where we house all of our top customers, and they're able to talk back and forth. We also have an SMS list, which we also call our VIP SMS list. So SMS being text messages. So those are the 2 big things to start. You could do this type of strategy with an email list for sure. But I don't think it would be quite as effective as with SMS and with a VIP group. So the whole idea behind the gated launch is we actually password protect the site for about 12 hours before the launch. So nobody can get into the site. That's when we can make all of the changes to the site. So all that they see is a password protected site that says, if you want early access to this launch, we're going to be launching our new whatever. So this one was our new fall winter collection. We did this in August. We said, hey, if you want access to our new fall winter collection, join the SMS list here or join our VIP group on Facebook here. So we have tons of people signing up during that time because they want early access.
Right. And just like a question there, because this is an existing brand that you have. So it's an existing e-commerce site that already has sales and so on. And you're still putting like the whole site, not just a section, the whole site, like unaccessible right now. Is that right?
The entire site is locked down. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's to build this buzz, right? So for about 2 weeks, 2 to 3 weeks before, we're showing sneak peeks of the new line. We're showing, some of the items that are going to be available. We'll show a lookbook just to get people's excitement up. The great thing about having a VIP group is that in that VIP group, people start talking in amongst each other, right? And they start kind of egging each other on. So people who maybe weren't thinking about purchasing, they're like, oh yeah, that's a great idea. I should get that item with this one. And they all have their purchases planned out before, right? So at 10 o'clock Pacific is when we generally launch these. 10 o'clock Pacific, we give our VIP group the password, right? So we come up with a unique password that they have to enter to get into the website. So we give it to them on SMS and we give it to them in the VIP group. So there's a bunch of psychology that goes on here, right?
Yeah,
so first of all, they feel special because they got the special password to get in early. When we did this particular launch, it was incredible. We're like looking at Google Analytics and just like, okay, what's this going to look like? So, the first minute we see, about 500 people on. We're like, oh, okay, this is going to be decent. And then it's like minute 2, we have like 3,000 and then 4,000, then 5,000 people on the website. And we're like, oh my gosh. Wow. And in that first day, the conversion rate was about 17%. It was just absolutely crazy.
Which is amazing. So 17% is amazing.
Oh, it's incredible. I mean, our average is about 2.5, right? We're pretty industry average. But it's absolutely incredible what can happen during one of these gated launches. So in the first 2 hours, while the website was password protected, we did about $125,000 just in those first 2 hours. And then we opened the website up, and then the general public comes in, and it was just mayhem. We couldn't believe the amount of orders that we were having during this time. I think some of our best launches before were maybe like in the 50,000 sort of range, and then it just kind of stays pretty steady. But this particular launch, we really saw the power of the VIP group and the power of making people jump through hoops to get product. Most people want to open up, their entire catalog and just like, hey, buy this, buy this, buy this. But by actually putting in barriers, I think that we actually do better.
I believe you. The psychology of it, that makes sense to me. And like, what about like the traffic hit? Because like you have 5,000 concurrent visitors, meaning all at the same time. Like, did you have to do any kind of technical preparation for that?
So we're, I'm going to use the SH word here. We're on Shopify.
That's okay.
And we had no issues at all with that level of traffic. Even being on the regular version of Shopify, we didn't really have any issues traffic-wise, though we do have a lot of people reaching out saying, hey, I had items in my cart and they're gone. Or we also have a mobile app as well. So sometimes if they don't refresh the mobile app, there's big issues, right? Because they'll have something in their cart and then suddenly it's gone because somebody's purchased it from the website because it's not updating in real time. So there's a lot of issues around that. I still love the app. I love the app. Brands having an app for a lot of different reasons, right? It's a big authority sort of play, right? Kind of can make your brand actually look a little bit bigger than you actually are. For us, we're kind of growing into our app right now. There's a lot of different sort of psychological things that I think go along with having an app, as well as just like the whole idea behind the VIP group is that, when you go to a website, when you go into a store on Black Friday, how many people are in the store, right? A physical location. Yep. You can see how many people are there. When you go into a website, you don't really know the mayhem that could be going on the website, unless people have, they have like Prove It or something, or like one of those things that say like, oh, there's this many people looking at the product right now, but nobody really trusts those anyways.
So you don't program whatever you want on that widget.
Yeah, exactly. So you can say whatever you want. Whereas when you have a VIP group that people talk back and forth on Facebook, there's like, on those launches, there'll be like 100 posts with people showing what they bought in their cart, right? So So people can see like, oh my gosh, there's so many people buying things right now, and they can see items selling out. They can really have that. It's like you create some of that fear of missing out, and you create this whole just frenzy around your brand. And for us, it really lasted, this frenzy, right? It got a lot of word of mouth going for this particular launch. So it was like 250,000 that first day, then 50, then 40. And these are bigger numbers than we're normally doing, right?
Yeah.
We actually ended up having to hire permanently more people because of that launch. And we have no doubt that we're doing another big launch. Every launch that we've done since then, we've either sold out or pretty close to sold out.
Yeah, because that was my next question there. There's a lot of logistic when you do big sales like that, flash sales, because there's inventory to take into account. Of course, there's the technical, find your Shopify auto scales. So Magento, same, just talk to your hosting company before, say you're going to have a flash sale, they'll set you up properly. But then like, how did you prepare for inventory? Did you have any kind of forecast that it would be that good? Was sort of a great surprise or?
Yeah, I mean, generally we're forecasting about 50% year on year growth. Luckily, we actually produce everything in Canada. So we're able to, so we bring the fabric over and then we're able to produce in Canada. So even with the selling out of a lot of items, we were able to refill those items within about 2 weeks. So comparatively to being in China, right? If we were manufacturing in China, that would be a lot longer of a turnaround to be able to actually make those items. So that's another reason why we would really love still manufacturing in Canada. Yes, it's more expensive, but for us, it's as close to just-in-time manufacturing as we're going to get.
Yeah. Okay. So there was still a lead time. Like some people order it, they're going to wait 2 weeks extra because you sort of ran out of stock and you're producing kind of just in time in Canada.
Yeah. I mean, we're still carrying like probably $700,000 worth of inventory at all times, but, but for items, we don't know what's going to always sell, right? Like how do you know? So for us, we do our best estimate that we can. We're also in about 120 stores across Canada and getting even bigger. We're going to be going into the Bay and into chapters in Indigo. So those are going to be some really big.
That's big distribution power.
It's a little scary, to be honest. Like we're 95% still online. I think of those partners, and if there's any partners like that listening, I still think of them as marketing partners for us, right? Like we're not making tons of money off of our wholesale comparatively to our direct consumer. So, so anyway, that's a little aside.
But it's very interesting because it's so broad when you're building a business online. It's not just about the website, it's, procurement, the fulfilling, partnerships and marketing. And okay, how do I get, well, like in that case, the gated launch to have my new product line actually start well and so on. There's just so many things to think about.
I think the big thing that for people listening that I would want them to know is always be launching, right? Always be launching something new. That to me, so like, the couple brands that we're looking at acquiring right now do not launch very often. We do launches almost once a week of a new product, right? Just to get new product out there, especially in apparel. It's something that we can do. We can put a new design on something. We can try a new color. All of these things to really get the hype up seems to work really well for us. And it seemed to work really well for our clients at Mindful Marketing as well. Something that we've been recommending a lot of is like, take your products launch. You could launch a bundle of products together, right? You could have a bundle sale. You could do all of these things, but something that's just not just your classic 20% off sale, right? Getting more creative with those, I think, has really helped us drive revenue and will continue to help us drive revenue.
Okay, well, I'm curious if you want to elaborate a bit more on this. So let's say you had your gated launch. This was a whole reveal for a whole new collection, like your fall collection. And the other launches that you're talking about, more like smaller launches. What is it? Like you said, one new design, one new product, so that you just like advertise it on your homepage, talk about it on your Facebook. And
yeah, it's just another reason to talk to your email list, to your SMS list. So we'll take, say like this green shirt that I'm wearing right now, right? This is one of our items. We'll take it and we'll put one of the, or what we'll do is we'll actually ask our VIP group, hey, what kind of graphic would you guys love? So we'll create a graphic that they said that they would love, that the majority of people said that they would love. we'll create a graphic and be like, hey, what do you guys think about this? And then we'll launch it the next week and it'll sell out right away because everybody already said that they wanted it. This is the power of owning your customers and having a VIP group and having two-way conversation, right? I think a lot of brands, what they do is they have one-way conversation all the time.
Yeah, they just talk. They just talk. Nobody's talking about them. Nobody's talking back. There's no conversation. They just try to radiate ads spent,
Totally. It's like old school parenting, right? You just tell your kids what to do, right? Rather than like working collaboratively or like it's just a different mentality that I think that we have now. And being millennials too, right? We know that people really care whether the brand listens or not, right? And so if we can show that we're listening and actually have a conversation back and forth, it's a lot more powerful than us just shoving, new ideas, through our marketing channels. When they know that we listen, that goes a long way with word of mouth.
Very interesting. And perhaps if you're comfortable about this going a little bit like the number of the size of the VIP group or the SMS list, because some people listening might be say, okay, fine, you make 250K, but how big of a membership did you have to work with there?
At that point, I think it was only 7,000 people on each list.
So 14K total. Lists. Okay, 14K people total as a
and there's a pretty big overlap. I'm assuming between the SMS list and the VIP group. So let's call it like maybe 8,000, maybe 9,000 total between the two. So not a huge list, right? That to me is a really good curated sort of list. But think about those customers, right? Those are our diehard fans who then tell how many people how much they love our brand, right?
Exactly. So all past customer, those guys. It's not like ad acquisition. It's not acquisition through ads. It's on Facebook to like come and join my group or no. Okay, so all past customers. And these aren't the core.
It's not every single past customer either. These are people who have like ordered multiple times, who really love our brand. That's why they join the VIP group, right? So these people are advocates. They're doing hundreds of thousands of dollars a year in advertising for us because they love the brand and because we've listened and we treat them well and yeah.
Pretty cool. Oh, okay. Any other like tips or tactics you'd like to share with anybody trying to do a gated launch for, say, a new line or new something?
Yeah, I would say just be very clear with your group. You can do it with an email list. That's totally fine. I just think that it's even more powerful with a VIP list. But be very clear, like, hey, you're going to get a password at this time if you want early access. The first couple times may not go incredible. But continue to test it. And you've got to have at least 1,000 people on those within those groups for it to really take off.
1,000 people. Okay. And if you have other ideas to discuss specifically about gated launch, go for it. Otherwise, I'll bring you to the earlier days of your e-commerce venture.
Yeah, no. I think that that's enough information to get people a little bit dangerous with gated launches.
Okay, it's just not enough to be dangerous. Perfect. So let's say some brands, there's still a lot of brands in America that don't have much online presence. Maybe they even have a catalog, but they're still like old school retail. There's some pretty impressive stats on this. Like half of the businesses still don't have a proper web presence or not transactional. So let's say we have those more traditional business, they have lots of business experience, they're offline, they have distribution channels, whatever. And now they want to go direct to consumer. They're building that new website, that new e-commerce site. They want to get it off the ground. So how did you proceed with, let's say, acquiring your first few customers? Was it like Google ads, Facebook ads? Did you do a gated launch for the site itself?
No, it was all Facebook to start, right? So first we built an organic presence on Instagram. That was the first really big thing. That's where our customers were. So what I recommend is lots of these brands may actually already have these social channels built out, but make sure that you're aggregating your customers somewhere. So for us at first, that was Instagram. That was a big part of where our customers were at the time, and that's kind of where they still are there, and a couple other places. So we started there, and then we went heavy on Facebook ads. And that's what I really recommend is Facebook and Google, know how much it costs to acquire a customer and then just start acquiring them, right? Because you have to acquire customers to really get the buzz up about your brand.
Right. So then you were tracking your cost, your return on investment for your ads spend versus your cost of merchandise versus the profit. And you just sort of scaled up Facebook ads, Google ads, and have that aggregation of customers on
That's right.
Instagram to try to exchange with them. And at which point did you add more interaction, like let's say the Facebook group and stuff like that? Awesome. So thank you for the answer on this one. So let's keep elaborating on this part, the early days of your company, because there's that part where you sort of have to start from ground zero and build up an audience, to build up your list, build up your brand, build a customer base. Once you have a large enough customer base, it's easier. It's scaling up. It's different challenges. You'll need more like financing and stuff like that. But
yeah,
like, let's say, how do you get your website from zero to the first $1 million of online sales, let's say, per year?
Yeah, it's a great question. I think this is where I would go into really building your lists, right? So not just focusing on Facebook advertising now or Google advertising, but really focusing on building up those email lists and the SMS lists, create a VIP group, start building up your messenger list, all of these places that you can start building up your lists so that people now will have you in their inbox, right? Go really hard on retargeting, right? So people who have been to your site, they need to see, if they don't know about your brand, they need to see you 20 to 30 times before they're going to make a purchase. And so hitting them with different angles about your brand, different ways that your product is going to help solve their problem is really, really important. A lot of Facebook advertisers and just advertisers in general will say, don't show them more than, a frequency of 3. So they're going to see 3 of your ads. Absolutely not. They need to see you 20 to 30 times in different areas, omni-channel. So don't just focus on Facebook, right? For your retargeting, focus, and it's not a lot of money that you have to spend, right? So focus on Google, focus on YouTube, focus on Google's display network. And then you've got Facebook, Instagram, all these places. You want to be all of these places after people have come to your site and not purchased.
Right. So that's really like a philosophical statement of you want to have the visibility that many times, 20, 30 times. So, okay, so it's a philosophical statement on the advertising strategy.
Totally. And it's a reason why at Mindful Marketing, why we do so well for our clients, right? We really believe there's certain strategies that we use that we know work at Mindful Marketing. And this is why I'm so passionate about this stuff, because it's counterintuitive, but it works.
Yeah, retargeting has proven itself, but you're going really all in with it with 20, 30 times. So
Totally.
Very interesting approach. Cool. Would there be any other tips or tactics or strategy you'd like to share with anybody trying to scale up the site, let's say from zero to their first $1 million a year of online sales?
You're going to have to think about your cash flow, right? So figure out, first of all, how much you can afford to spend to acquire a customer. That's a big thing. And then market as much as you can to get those customers, right? Just, and then the other thing too is follow just a couple people in the e-commerce space that know what they're doing. Jumping all over the place. If you're going to try a strategy, try it for at least a couple of weeks before you say it's failed. But really just try and just stay the course. If you're acquiring customers profitably or break even, just keep going.
Okay. Very good advice. Very interesting. All right. That sort of covers it for that section. Anything else you'd like to cover for today's topic?
Yeah, well, I just wanted to let people know we do have a sales launch checklist. So if you've heard all the stuff about gated launches, you think it's interesting, we actually have a checklist that we've created at Mindful Marketing for people. So you just go to mindfulmarketing.co/SLC. And that's where you can get the sales launch checklist. It's the same checklist that our staff uses every time we do a gated launch. So we really do believe in it. Feel free. That's just a free download that you can get on our website.
Awesome. Well, thank you for sharing all this highly valuable information, Jordan. Thank you for being here with us today.
Yeah, thanks for having me.